Do we have an intro or anything?
What, like real music or something like that? Nah. I think we should just cut to it. Oh, you started already.
Okay, we're recording.
Yeah. Hey, so welcome.
My name is Jake Donkersgood. I'm joined here by Joel Steinbach.
Hey.
We are introducing the game we are developing called The Doors of Trithius.
Oh, yeah.
So what is The Doors of Trithius? The Doors of Trithius is a roguelike, a turn-based roguelike set in a medieval world. Heavily uses procedural random generation, random map, random dungeons. And we're just here today to talk a bit about the game, introduce it, and kind of our philosophy behind development as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Between the two of us, we have quite a sizable amount of gaming experience and also a fair amount of programming experience and different kinds of game creation experience, whether they be PC games or board games, etc. Starting out here, we can basically just create our character right off the bat. I'm going to choose the Knight class and think of a good name. Knight. Wow.
Knight man.
Real original. Real classic.
That's what he is. So we're starting out here in our little starter room in a dungeon. We get a bit of starter loot going on.
Nice. So you got a pretty good roll there. You got a torch as an offhand. Not really better than a shield, but personal preference, I guess.
And we come in here naked, so.
Well, you got your pajamas on at least. At least you remembered to wear those this time.
It's an undergarment. It's an undergarment, all right?
This video would be taken down by now.
We do have a shield. There we go.
Right on. So, there's definitely some pretty interesting stuff about this game we think anyways, that's quite unique. One of the main things is the time-based system. So right now when you're alone, doesn't really matter. You can just move around as you please. The turns are not obvious there's no one else to take a turn. As soon as you run to your first enemy, of course, it is a turn-based game, RPG. So you do take turns, go back and forth. When it's your turn, you get to go. And when it's not your turn, the rest of the world moves until it is your turn. That being said, it's unique in the fact that there is a time-based system as well, in terms of, we call them ticks in the game world, where basically everything you do takes a certain amount of time, and that influences your actions. Do you want to go into a little more detail on that, Jake?
So here I found some enemies. So how this is going to work is I'm going to take an action. That consumes so much time, and every entity in the world is allowed to take a turn every so often based on their speed. So
Right.
These little gremlins, they're not that fast. But if we were against a faster opponent, if I was slow or had a lot of armor or a slow weapon, they might get to move twice or three times.
Or hit you multiple times.
Hit you multiple times.
Take you out before you have a chance to react.
We take a look at our starter weapon here, wooden sword, very good weapon. Tack time 100, so that's how much time.
That's about average.
Yeah.
Right? Most turns are about 100 ticks. That's sort of the average turn time. But that can be influenced by many things, including the weight of the gear you have, like you were saying, and the weapon speed that you have. This isn't a fully new realization to any games. There are other games that have done this before. But with the type of random generation and whatnot we have with this, we think it's going to make for some quite unique gameplay.
I agree. Basically, it adds a level of complexity, because now when you're deciding actions, it isn't as just like exactly what the action does. It's how much time it's going to take here.
Right.
So.
And speaking of random generation, if we want to take a look at where we are right now, each of these rooms, each of these areas, the doors connecting everything is fully procedurally generated, and it's based off of algorithms which we think make pretty unique maps. If we want to, we can look at a little GIF that we have over here of how these seeds are grown for how the rooms compile together with the hallways and all that. So here's a full map being generated.
This would be a larger dungeon. This one's one with a hallway. Yeah, this is actually based off of seed growth, where our dungeons grow almost like a plant or an animal, or like
Right.
a coral reef was a huge inspiration.
So it'll never be the same way twice, except by crazy, coincidence.
But this is a huge dungeon here in this example.
Right, of
but
course,
yeah, we can
this is
see the process where the rooms fill in. And this is just one type of hallway, where our plan is this will be fully extensible. So we'll have different hallway types that are growing, different room layout types. And the other really cool bit of this is each room naturally integrates within this algorithm. So if we design a new room, maybe a new boss room, or a unique quest that happens in that room, the engine will just naturally add it to the dungeons.
Right.
Here, I got to take care of this little rat.
So hopefully we can see a bit more in the room generation as we go. Other than that, some other things we can definitely get into are the abilities, skills, lack of attributes that characters have, which is another thing that makes our game quite unique. When you level up, you don't choose attributes that just permanently make your character arbitrarily stronger. You need to learn lessons which your guy can essentially internalized to gain passive or active abilities. So you can see your ability bar at the bottom. We only have one ability so far. We only have one skill learned so far. There's many more skills. We have like 9 non-combat skills so far, 12 combat masteries so far. And all of those are just learned from actions, from figuring them out, from equipping a new type of weapon. Your guide says, oh, what is this? Oh, it's a mace, I guess. And now you know about the mace's skills, right? So there's...
Just to show like an example of that, if we click Chivalry, which is the only skill we've discovered so far, a lot more skills implemented, but we haven't discovered them. And we started with this because we're a knight. We can see here, lessons learned. So not only are we leveling this up, trying to get XP in the world, but we're also trying to learn lessons, which are basically the perks are unlocked and have to be discovered by the player.
Right, and they're not just learned from leveling up. They can be learned through trainers, which can teach you new things, from reading and studying books, which is going to be coming in a future update. We do have books in now which give experience, but they're still in the works in terms of their full completion. So yeah, that's, and then again, so there is a level that you have, which is your wisdom level.
Here,
which
we'll
you
take a
can
look
rest.
at that.
You go to your character panel.
Go to our character panel. We can see our wisdom down here.
So you will gain wisdom levels, which you can use your wisdom points as you level up to increase your skills. But there's no actual character level, which will, it's going to
no character level, no attributes.
Right. So more importance on the gear you find, on choosing the types of skills that you want to build up, and then it's much more of a choose your own adventure. Build yourself. Choose your build. Find the build that works for you. And kind of experimenting with that instead of just making your character arbitrarily stronger and then being able to easily, destroy everything.
And just some of the reasoning behind that, we really didn't want it to be grindy. Like, you can grind here, but a lot of the levels come from, you can grind, but you get a little bit of XP every time you cook. A lot of the levels come from when you level up, you use your wisdom, and you spend that wisdom, where the game is meant to be very playable and replayable without fully needing to grind like you're playing like an old school MMO style.
Right.
And so there's this like balance in the XP system where it isn't just, oh, you have enough strength, you have enough attribute, oh, you're this level, you win. No, we really wanted to focus on selecting the right equipment, finding the best gear, finding the right skills for your build, for your style.
Right. We want it to be more of a, choosing your options is much more important. We want to feel like we've been inspired by games like Slay the Spire, or we want to get into the nitty gritty of it, like make it more like Dwarf Fortress style, where we're making it much more iconic instead of
you're just like on rails. And I think that can kind of happen with classical leveling systems, as you're sort of guided down a single path.
Yeah, exactly.
Where here the strength of your character is how strong are you? Well, it depends how well you're doing. Maybe am I ready for the next floor?
I mean, yeah.
We don't have our next ability yet.
You're still wearing your pajamas, but at least you got your those boots on.
No, we got a shirt. There we go.
An apron.
There we go. We got it.
Yeah. Okay. Looking good so far. You guys still bald though. I mean, not that that's a big issue. It's just maybe you want some protection up there,
When we find a helmet. Oh, here's our trap.
Oh yeah, there's a randomly placed trap. There's always a chance for those to be happening in a lot of these dungeons.
We have traps in the starter dungeon. That's kind of brutal. That's kind of mean.
Craziest things I've seen.
I kind of want to talk about our wound system. We're actually not getting poisoned.
Sure. Why don't you go ahead and accidentally step on that trap and see what happens.
Okay. We'll go over here. We'll get.
Right on. So at the bottom there, above the health bar, so our UI isn't fully polished yet. It looks a little ugly still. It's going to be being updated soon. So we have a bleed right now, so it's a wound. It's a somewhat permanent debuff, basically. You're going to need to bandage that up, otherwise you're probably going to be bleeding for quite some time. Don't travel while bleeding. It's a terrible idea. You're going to die. So bandage that thing up. The other thing you have is a cripple?
Yeah.
So that's another type of wound. It says exactly what it does on it. So
and here you can also see the time system come into play.
True.
Where now, if I take a movement, this rat might attack me twice. Because it takes me a while to move. There you go. You got 2 hits in. So I'm going to have to deal with this cripple. I don't actually have a way to deal with it right now.
You're going to have to craft a splint. Maybe find the medicine skill. Something like that. Right on.
And the thing with the wound system, what we're really hoping for is to create like interesting problems across time. Where when you're a roguelike, you're in a room, your first problem, your local problem is just to kill everything in the room. Where a longer term problem is how to deal with these wounds. Because, this isn't going to kill me, but I want it dealt with eventually. And I think this layering of gameplay is really creates like emergent, interesting situations where lots of problems to deal with, different things happening, and we can recombine those in unique ways.
Yeah, you're never really going to have the same kind of situation twice in a randomly generated area like this. So many different types of enemies, different kind of debuffs, wounds that can be happening to you. Yeah, the replayability of this is going to be, we hope anyways, be pretty
Especially as we start to extend the content. I mean, here we're in a gremlin dungeon. There's different dungeon types, which also have their own aesthetic, their own room types, their own monster types.
Yeah.
And I think we can take a look at the overworld if I can get there.
Sure. Yeah. Maybe pull out of this little dungeon. This is just the starter dungeon, so the enemies are easy, but you still might die.
Maybe not for maybe not for me.
Doesn't mean it's definitely doesn't mean it's safe.
My cripple's slowing me down here.
Just made it out.
Just it. Okay, so we can escape this dungeon. Oh, some engines.
So another thing we can talk about here while we're on our way out is the art style. We do have an excellent pixel artist or general artist, Drixel. He's been doing most of the in-game sprites that you see on the screen. Kind of cool. You can always zoom out if you want to get a bigger view of the dungeon. You'll notice that our sprites are borderless for the most part, which gives a pretty unique look to our characters and to the entities in the world. Unique icons for all the inventory. Maybe we can go outside and look at some plants and whatnot.
Yeah, let's take a look outside. Also, the nice thing with pixel art for indie games is it doesn't take too much time to keep adding. And we have a lot. We want to keep adding monsters. We want to keep adding new plants, new features, new new biomes. Here we'll take a look. New everything. And here we'll take a look. First of all, I guess I'll show our overworld. So this is the dungeon we came from. It looks like there's another dungeon here. We're on an island.
Should be a town nearby.
Should be a town somewhere.
Go to the shop.
Let's explore one of these forests.
A couple of biomes so far. You notice there's forested tiles and less forested tiles. So those will change what the tile when it's generated and you go into it. Every tile you can enter, and they have, again, randomly generated. There can be enemies there.
Here we got a wild dog attacking us.
There's going to be quest sequences that can pop up. When you're moving around on the overworld, it takes time, and that'll be, it's all tracked, so the days are tracked, of course. The quests that you're going to be having are going to be time limited, so you're going to have to keep in mind how fast you want to travel, and your gear is going to be changing your speed that you travel at, and as well as the terrain that you move on. So you're going to pick your path, in an intelligent manner.
And we wanted moving over in the overworld to be dangerous. Like, we wanted it to feel like to have a cost. So when you get sent to somewhere, it's not just like it doesn't take too much of your time.
Yeah.
But in terms of the gameplay, there's a cost and a risk associated.
Right. And the actions that you take are going to change the risks as well. So if bandits are appearing in the area and you can accept. Or you can help the town guard get rid of them, or you can choose not to. Maybe you can side with them, and that'll help the bandits grow in the area, but that'll also mean you have a higher chance to get mugged while traveling along on the roads. But you'll be able to tell these things. It's going to be, right, you're going to know because of the actions that you've taken what the risks are going to be for the most part. And then there's obviously going to be,
it's a roguelike. You can get on
randomly generated. Yeah. There's going to be random events and all that as well, so.
I think this is. We didn't want to go too long. We want to get into everything today.
You can beat this guy.
I don't know if I can. I died. I had to restart. He's a bandit. He's got me.
You're really gonna run away. I mean, come on. You gotta try.
Oh look, I'm stunned here. Gotta pass my turn.
Yeah, try to wrap this up a little bit with. Is there anything else you wanted to go over? We went over the lessons, the tick system, the wounds. Bit of the art style, kind of.
Yeah, I think we just wanted to give an overview. I just say thank you to anyone watching. Thank you, anyone interested in this project.
Yeah, for sure.
We're planning to do our pre-alpha Steam release mid-August, August 15th. So look out for that. We're also looking for more beta testers. If you'd like to be added to the list, you can visit our website at doorsofTrithius.com and get added to our list. And
it's got some more information there for you. And thanks for listening, guys.
And we'll see you in the next dev video.
Definitely. Have a good one.